I'm Jeff Zinser. I own Right Recruiting. In this video, we're going to talk to you a little bit about recruitment advertising, and I'm going to explain why it doesn't work, and I'll give you some specific reasons that it's become ineffective over the last, I'd say, 5 years or so, and just give you some things to think about. There are really two major reasons that recruitment doesn't work or advertising doesn't work. One of which is societal, and the other is an element of how it's packaged to the candidate. But first, let's talk in general about some of our clients' experiences with recruitment advertising. Kathy and I were at a client about 2 or 3 months ago. A fellow owned a business, was looking for a general manager for a second location that he wanted to start, and ran an ad on one of the major websites. Was very excited. Within 24 hours, he'd gotten, I think, almost 100 responses, and within 2 days had gotten 100. But when he looked at the response itself, 90 lived out of the area, which meant that if they were 1,000 miles away, they were of no value to him. That left 10. Once he looked at the 10, half of them, 5 of them, really didn't have the skills he was looking for, which left him with 5 people. He called all 5. 3 never called him back. The 2 that did, one of the 2 decided that she wasn't interested, which left him with 1 candidate. He interviewed the 1 candidate, wasn't comfortable with the individual, so that 100 people got filtered down to 1 marginal candidate. Those are pretty normal metrics when it comes to recruiting, and when it comes to recruiting advertising. That initial flow of people usually filters down to 1 out of 100 that's worth paying attention to. A second client, we were out to meet. They had given us a project for an HR person, and in that conversation, they asked if we could help them with an engineering job. Well, there was an engineering job that they had been looking to fill for 2 years, and their strategy had been to try and advertise it on different websites, different mediums, in different ways, to no luck. And we said, sure, we can help them with that. Honestly, within 1 week, we had a resume there of the person that they hired. The person was actively looking for a job, never saw any of their ads, because he doesn't look at ads, and responded to our conversation with him. And he's working there now and has been there for a month, and I hear he's doing a very good job. So here's why your recruitment advertising doesn't work. The first thing you want to understand is the world has changed. It's changed in 2 ways. Economically, it's changed. Recruitment advertising requires a pool of candidates that are out of work or unhappy in their job. Well, there's nobody like that now. The unemployment rate for professionals is almost as low as 2%. And companies treat their people better now. They've learned that if they want to hang on to their people, they need to treat them reasonably well. So there's no pool of candidates that's going to be out there digging through these ads, looking for these positions, applying to these jobs. It doesn't exist. Like I have said to my clients, there's nobody looking, but everybody's listening. And that's an important distinction. Over the last 5 years, people have learned that information will come to them. You see it every day on Google. You see it when you go to a website. Information comes to you, and candidates feel that way about jobs. What we have found is if you explain a position to a candidate in an intelligent way, they are interested, they will get excited. But what they don't want to do is apply to a series of meaningless ads, random ads that require a lot of work, that require them to sift through responses. So the concept of that pool of candidates does not exist anymore, which means you've got to change your strategy. Now, advertising. There are other reasons it doesn't work, and that's just more specific to the ads themselves. You may not know this, but the first thing a candidate sees when they click on your ads is a list of 10 other ads that that website wants them to click on as well. What does that mean? That means, great, that money you paid to run that ad immediately directs the candidate that is interested in your job to other jobs. How does that help you? Great. So when you interview this person and this person says to you, "So I'm sorry, I'm not interested. I found another job that's closer to home," it might have been your ad that pointed them to that job. Well, I'm not quite sure that's a good expense for you to incur. The other thing that you may not know is a lot of these websites rate your company. You are rated by ex-employees. So if Janie Smith opens up your ad, the first thing she sees is a series of complaints from every disgruntled ex-employee about your organization. And then you expect her to apply to your job? Well, would you do that? It's just not practical. The third thing you want to know about these sites is, even if you don't give a salary range on that job, which you shouldn't, by the way, the website does. So the website says that to the candidate, this company should be paying between $80,000 to $110,000 for this job. How does that help you? Especially if you're only paying to $100,000. They're automatically telling every candidate that you should be paying more. I'm not quite sure that's really something you should be subsidizing. So there's an awful lot of reasons that advertisement does not work. But the major reason is it's random. It's not a plan. You're expecting somebody who fits the specs, who is commutable, who is within your salary range, to trip over that ad and then apply to your job. People just don't do that. If it's happened once or twice in the past, great, more power to you. But I gotta tell you, it's a random thing. If you think it's a plan, it's not. You need to have a strategy. You need to decide what kind of person you want to hire, how to get to them, how to get your message across to them, your unique message across to them. And an ad is not that. Well, I appreciate you sticking around on this video for this long. Stay tuned for our next video, which is going to talk to you about how to save money on recruitment costs and from companies like mine. Thank you.